Hey everybody, Grayson here, Gundam Gambler, weekly market update, sealed product, singles and slabs, over $250 USD. Before we get into the video, I want to give a shout out to today's video sponsor. It is the Arcane Archive on eBay. Over 16,000 items sold, 100% positive feedback. They're your one-stop shop for everything Gundam, Pokemon, Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh!, a couple other TCGs. They're doing a massive auction starting tomorrow. I know a lot of you guys dabble with One Piece. That whole auction series is going to be highlighted by the Shanks serialized out of 1,000 English. So definitely go check that out. And also, if you guys want to take profits, they're always buying collections. Reach out to them on Instagram. I'll leave the link again in the description and a pinned comment down below. And thank you to the Arcane Archive for sponsoring the video. Now, starting off with sealed product as always, then we'll go into singles and slabs. GDO5 continuing to dominate the market. Loose boxes anywhere between $230 and $250 still seems reasonable. This one sold for $255. It does seem like Wave 2 has shipped though, so we'll see if that has any influence on price in the coming weeks. After that, we have a lot of PBO1 and PBO2, $390. I know some people are big fans of these products, and I think they'll do decently well over time. We have a new type rising booster box here, $409.99. This is actually probably a little bit cheaper than what market is, at least looking at TCG Player. After that, we have the premium card collection in English. And if you guys remember, one of the first videos I did on the channel, I talked about this. And at the time, I want to say this was going for like $700 in that range, $750 maybe. We're now pushing $1,000, $1,025 here. You're basically up 50% if you would have bought at that time about a month ago. And we're actually going to see some of the cards inside this set showing up in PSA 10s in this video. So stay tuned for that. We have a booster box case here of GDO5, $2,750. Not really too much to say. Cases of GDO5, I think it's probably worth holding on to with this Wave 2 coming if you can get them at a decent price. Definitely recommend looking into that and potentially picking some up. A beta box, of course, we're going to see these selling fairly often. $3,700. I mean, I have no idea what the ceiling is going to be on these in terms of price. Is it going to level out at 4K, 6K, 8K? Who knows? There's definitely a ton of value that you can pull out of these. And then the final sealed item of the week, we have a new type rising booster box case. $5,400, less 1 cent. And there were multiple sales in this range. So new type rising, definitely still getting a lot of eyes. Now, before we get into singles and slabs, if you guys enjoy the content, I'd also appreciate if you take a second, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and of course, hype the video. Thank you guys if you do decide to do that. It does help out a ton. But starting off with the singles and slabs, EX Resource from GDO5, $250. This is, I believe, the cheapest one, or one of the cheaper ones. Not as popular as, of course, like the Sailor Mass, the Lacus, and some of the other ones too, like Rain. And we'll see all of those in this video. But right after that, we have the Gundam LR Plus from Phantom Aria, $255. This is currently PSA 10 Pop 5, so not a ton of those out there. Gundam Barbatos First Form, this is another LR Plus, but this is from Dual Impact, $265. Soletta Mercury, this is an SP from GDO5, one of the pilot ones, and $275, 51 cents. I mean, that's in line with what we've been seeing on this card. I don't want to call out the seller in this because I don't think they did the worst job ever, but I just don't like this second photo. I think it'd be a lot better if you had a different background. The lighting's just a little bit off and stuff. And you guys know, if you are going to sell ungraded cards, make sure to take solid photos of the corners and edges. Front and back like that, that's definitely the bare minimum. But if you want to get top dollar for your card, show as much detail as possible. Moving on, we have Shenlong Gundam. This is from the beta box, edition beta, actually, so not technically from the beta box, but PSA 10, this is Pop 2, $1,200 or best offer. There was a massive discount to that. $300 is the best offer taken. So that was the first one we've ever actually seen sell in a PSA 10. Now, after that, we have a non-Bandai card, but I figured I would throw this in. We're probably going to see a lot of these end up selling over the course of these videos. This is the Mirkan Bullets from 2025 Gundam Arsenal Base Summer Festival Pack. and this sold for 305 bucks, currently pop 149. I doubt that Bandai would ever do cards this exposed, let's say, is maybe a good word to go with, but some of the EX resources, they're expensive because they are waifus and they do have a particular look to them. So I wouldn't be shocked if Bandai looks at the success of One Piece and how they've done some of the cards in that game, and they eventually bring it over to some of the pilots in Gundam as well. We'll see what happens. But after that, another EX resource. This is the Sailor Mass, sold for $330. This one's definitely coming down in price a little bit. Out the gate, it was like 470 bucks, but still $330, quite expensive there. Then we have the Turn A Gundam LR Plus. This is from Phantom Aria, PSA 10, $355. This is currently pop 9. I definitely expect this to go up over time. I know multiple people that actually have sent one of these off for grading. So time will tell where the pops ultimately end up on a lot of these cards. We're so early in Gundam, guys. I think there is potentially some plays in certain cards. And, looking back a year from now, it's going to be very interesting to watch the videos. So very, very excited for the future of Gundam. Zaku 2, this is, I believe, from the premium card collection. This in a PSA 10, $355. Currently pop 12. And then after that, we have Gundam Elfrith. This is another card from the premium card collection. Pop 11 currently, $360. We have, and I'm always going to butcher this name, Q-Quux, Q-Quux from, I believe, the premium card collection also. Maybe we're going to see every single card from that set in this video, at least according to the title, that's what it is. $405, PSA 10, pop 9 currently. And these are really cool cards. I do love these. I think the premium card collection, at least the first one, it was a great product, right? If you could find it cheap enough, kind of seemed like a no-brainer. Now pushing $1,000, I mean, does it feel great? Not really. I think kind of the jig is up with a lot of these promo cards already in Gundam, right? Which is kind of insane to say, but that's just the reality. The markets are moving very fast right now. But moving on after that, we have G-Fred and LR++ from Steel Requiem. Not great photos, I'll be honest. I was expecting more from this auction, but hey, it is what it is. Very large seller too. Kind of surprising they did such a poor job, but they probably have a ton of listings on their site. Then we have Perfect Strike Gundam. This is another card from the premium card collection, PSA 10, $435. That is currently pop 10. And then after that, we have another EX resource. This is from the Suleta and Miorine. Someone's gonna have to let me know how to say that correctly. Playset or whatever. PSA 10, $495. And after that, we see our first new type challenge card of the video. This is the Kira top 4 prize card, $500 in a PSA 10. Currently pop 34 with 100% PSA 10 rate. Gundam Barbatos second form. This is another one of these premium card collection promos. PSA pop is 9 currently, quite low. This sold for $565. Barbatos, obviously a fairly popular mobile suit. And then after that, we have the Rain EX resource from GDO5, 460 pounds sterling. That is approximately $621 US. Definitely not the best photos. Is that playing a little bit of a factor here? Potentially. Lighting's pretty bad. It's in the sleeve, but these are coming down in price. Even the Lacus, we're not seeing the $1,200, $1,300 sales anymore. It's selling for a little bit less, but still $620, quite expensive. We can't really complain about that. Wing Gundam Zero PSA 10. This is the LR Plus from New Type Rising, $920. I want to say we've seen a couple sales over 1,000 already, so this is maybe a little bit cheaper than last week. Phoenix Gundam, the LR++ from EBO1. This sold for $1,300 or best offer, and this actually sold for less than $1,000, $950. Now, it looks like the auction, or the best offer, excuse me, might not have been paid. It was relisted and it sold again for the same price of $950. I did just want to point that out in the video. And after the Phoenix Gundam, we have a Soleta Mercury BGS 10 Pristine, another new type challenge, top prize card, $1,100 or best offer, and according to 130 Point, it sold for $1,000 exactly. So pretty big sale there. Then we have an Overflowing Affection. This is an Uncommon Plus from New Type Rising, $1,400 or best offer. This one sold for 1,050 US, which I think is maybe a little bit higher than the recent sales that we've been seeing on that card. Another EX resource, and this is of course the Lacus, who was also featured in this card from Overflowing Affection. This sold 1,075 bucks. Again, we're not seeing those $1,200-$1,300 sales anymore, but still sitting around $1,000 for the top EX resource SP. We can't ask for much more from Freedom Ascension. And after that, we have a card that I don't think I've ever seen before, so I'm probably going to butcher the name. And if you guys know more about this in terms of the pop or how it was given out, definitely leave a comment down below. But Amate Yuzuriha, 1,300 or best offer. Then according to 130 Point, it sold for 1,105, which is still very expensive. So again, if you guys know more about this card, I'm assuming it's some type of prize card. It says regional championship on it. So yeah, pretty cool to see another Gundam card selling in the 4 digits. Sazabi, LR++ from Freedom Ascension. We've covered this card a little bit in the past. 1,400 or best offer. This one sold for 1,250, which I think is in line with what we had been seeing on that card. Master Gundam, another LR++ from Freedom Ascension. 1,400 as well, or best offer. And this one sold for 1,260, so $10 more. They're essentially the same price. They're both beautiful cards, but the Strike Freedom and the Wing definitely pulling away. After that, we have EX Base, PSA 10, 1,375. This is from the early trial event, Pop 98 currently. We're seeing this pretty much every week, which is almost a little bit surprising, but hey, another card to throw in the video. And after that, we have Gundam. This is another one of those promos from the premium card collection. PSA 10, Pop 13, and it sold for $1,400. So pretty big sale there. Unicorn Gundam, Awakened, 1,500 bucks. This is the new Type Challenge winner card. We've seen a ton of these selling over the past couple of weeks. Then we have a Japanese card here, Banagher Lynx. This is from, I believe, the beta box in Japanese, 1,525. This is currently Pop 80 in a PSA 10. Always good to see Japanese cards. And someone actually pointed out to me that I believe the Strike in Japanese, the LR++, is actually more expensive than the Wing, which is different than in English, where the Wing is still going for a lot more. So it is cool to see the differences sometimes between Japanese and English and other languages when it's not something you would expect. So if there are Japanese sales and big ones, I will try to include them in these videos. But after that, New Gundam, another one of these LR++s from Freedom Ascension. Spoiler, we are seeing all 5 of them in this video. $1,800, I feel like that's moving up a little bit. The base LR too, out the gate, was fairly cheap. I want to say it was like $3 or $4, and I actually sold some for around $8 USD. So those have run up a little bit in price. Maybe that's influencing the LR++ as well, but it's also one of the top hits in the set. And I think people are starting to realize just how rare these are to pull. And I think they're going to be quite expensive even after Wave 2 hits, or potentially a reprint later this year if Bandai does decide to do that. Now moving on, Destiny Gundam LR++ from Phantom Aria, $2,638. I want to say this card ungraded, still around $1,000. I haven't checked in about a week. Haven't been paying too much attention to Gundam, been fairly busy, but you know, recent sales that I remember were around $1,000, $1,100. So you can basically send this off to PSA, grade it. If it comes back at 10, you've essentially doubled your money. And looking at the pop, I mean, PSA 10, 41, total population 43. These are very easy to grade cards. And I know some people aren't a fan of grading themselves, or they just don't have the time to do it. But if you do have the time and you want to get into Gundam and you want to buy the high-end singles, that's probably the best way to go in terms of investments, right? Just buy the singles that look like they're in good shape, send them off, get 10s. If they get 9s, hey, even at that point, you can crack them, sell them ungraded. So that's my strategy, at least if I want to get into singles. That's what I'll be doing this year. Moving on, another LR++. This is from Dual Impact, the Gundam Barbatos First Form, $2,750. So pretty big sale there. That is currently Pop 117. Strike Freedom Gundam. This is, of course, the LR++ that I pulled. This ungraded sold for $3,100. And I actually saw another auction end this week at $3,300. So this was actually the cheaper of the two sales that I saw for this card. I think last week it was in that like 26, 2,700 range. So up like 15%. People are definitely paying attention to this. And again, there's actually quite a large distance between the Japanese version of this card and the Japanese version of the Wing Gundam. So just keep that in mind because the Wing is actually more expensive in English. And after that, we have Ale Strike Gundam, another one of these edition beta cards. This in a PSA 10 sold for 4K. I want to say there's a sale last week at or around 4,000 as well. So it doesn't seem like this is crazy high or crazy low. Currently, PSA 10 pop is 59, so not a ton of these out there. Wing Gundam 0, this is of course the final LR++, and this sold for $4,288. I also saw one that sold, I believe today, 5K or best offer. Now I didn't look that one up, but even if that was $4,300, $4,400, which I think there is potential, it could have went that high because it just seems like this card continues to run up in price. We're talking about even the Wing being up 5, 10% week over week. So everybody is paying attention to Gundam right now. They're trying to build positions. These are going to be very scarce cards. I don't care what anyone says. We're not going to be looking at Pokemon populations. Maybe they'll be on par with some One Piece stuff. Time will tell, but I think they're beautiful looking cards, and I understand why they are quite expensive. But a couple more sales here to close out the video. Gundam LR++ from New Type Rising, obviously the big boy of the LR++s right now, $6,150 in a PSA 10 that is currently pop 243. And then a couple Japanese sales to close out the video. We do have the Overflowing Affection from the beta box, PSA 10, $6,459. And the final sale of the video, we have the Wing Gundam in Japanese from the beta box, $12,700 in a PSA 10. This is confirmed paid, and I believe it's the highest sale we've ever seen on the Japanese version of this card. So pretty big deal there to close out the video. PSA 10 pop, if you're wondering, is 206. So not a ton of these out there. It's a great looking card. Collectors are going to want these. And I think I'm going to continue echoing what I've been saying over the past couple weeks. It does still feel like we're early to Gundam. Sure, some stuff is starting to run up, like the premium card collection, the singles and the sealed product there. Freedom Ascension, I mean, that's, you know, cat's out of the bag on that. Like, you're not going to be finding deals on that product. But, you know, maybe with some of these LR++, LR+s even, there could potentially be plays. So keep looking, keep researching. I'm always learning new things. I'm sure you guys as well. Whatever corner you look in for this TCG, you will find opportunity. You just got to be patient and bide your time. So with all that said, thank you guys so much for watching the video. Again, if you're interested in One Piece, go check out the Arcane Archive tomorrow. They're going to be doing that massive auction with a lot of those high-end slabs. If you guys want to take profits, reach out to them too. But with all that said, thanks again. Stay safe wherever you are in the world, and I'll catch you in the next one.